Hey guys, got myself a box of Aberrants. I'm gonna be starting a Genestealer Colts army today. As you can see from this box, if I can get it open in the first place. Get yourself one sprue, some instructions, and 5 32mm bases, which when I got them, I thought they were on 40s. I don't know, they just feel like they'd be on 40mm bases since they have 3 wounds. But that's the stuff you get in the box, no transfers. At the time that I'm recording this, I just got back from a trip from Wisconsin, and it's like 2:30 in the morning, so I'm gonna build like one of these guys. And that guy is gonna be my least favorite one. The guy with like the little robe thing. I always thought it looked dumb. So it's time to build him. Alright, here's the first guy built up. Now that I'm actually like looking at him in person, honestly, I like him a lot, really. You know what? For funsies, let's build the sneaky hammer aberrant in the pocket. Alright, second aberrant done. I think he looks really sneaky, so that's why I gave him the face of the tendrils, because it reminds me of a lictor. And lictors are pretty sneaky, and this guy is too. Well, that's what I'm just gonna build tonight. I'll go back to it this morning. Alright, so I built 3 of the guys. This guy has a pretty big hammer. The guy in the box with like the huge street sign, which I find really cool. And the guy who's like throwing a rock at someone, even though they have no range attacks. So my next step I'm gonna do is using this huge tub of glue to paint on some glue on the bases so I can put some sand on it to get like this effect. I use this on my guard army and like a lot of other stuff I use, because I think it looks really nice and it works really well with speed paints, which I'm going to be using to paint up these models. Alright, I just got through racing them and primed them white because I'm going to be using speed paints to make these, because I'm using the style to paint these guys up. And I use a mix of powdered bone and grin black to make their bases, and I think these guys are going to turn out quite cool. I painted up 3 of them. This is my first attempt. I tried using like red for the skin, but I thought it looked really weird. So I gave it a second shot, but gave them more human skin, and came out like this, which I prefer way more, and made the second guy who like throwing rocks. Tried with different skin tones, and yeah, these guys honestly look really cool now. Alright, this is my 3rd aberrant painted, but I want to say something about it. As you can probably notice, the claws and the tendrils are not their usual bright colors of blue and green. I did it because I was looking at Eons of Battle Genestealer Colts, and I really liked how everything was just like skin. Something about it just made it look nice and seem more like natural. I don't know how to say it. And I thought it matched well with my panel guard, which I am going to outline into my Genestealer Colts. So, what I did was, for now tendrils and the tongue bits, I dry brushed some bright dragon red from the war paint line, and so I can also start mixing up some speed paints alongside of acrylic paints. So I tried them on the other guys, and I think they look pretty nice. As you can see, like the red tongue, the little head armor, it's all something weird and like lore, but that's also like covered up, and same with the rock guy. But I'm thinking I'm gonna continue this. I really like it, and I was using this on a testing like Termagant model, and I mean, this is what they'll probably look like that got infected by the Tyranids, and I think it looks pretty cool. I don't know really if I'll paint the Tyranids this way or still keep with the 90s Tyranids look. I'm still thinking about that, but I'm pretty proud of this guy. Alright, after a bit more painting, I was able to finish the last 2 guys. The guy holding the street sign, this is definitely my favorite, because like his head split into 2, details look nice, and the whole street sign he's holding. And then got repainted. I still don't like how he looks, still probably my least favorite one, but it looks alright. But that means this whole unit of Aberrants is finished, and I am quite proud of them. And I think making a choice to have them like more of this skinned and like goofy bright colors of this makes it honestly look better, in my opinion at least. So for future now, for my Genestealer Colts army, they're going to be following this style. Still with the orange clothes to match my Penal Legion though. But definitely a really cool unit. One last thing I do want to mention is their stats. So Aberrants, they are definitely elite infantry with 6-inch movement 6 toughness, 5 up saves, and 3 wounds, and like 7 up leadership and like 1 OC, which they're not going to be holding points. You want them to get in like the mud and like kill some stuff. But the only problem I have with them is like they're 5 up saves, which is pretty bad. So anything with 2 AP, they're going to take automatic damage. But they do have a natural 5 up feel no pain, which is always really convenient to have, especially for these guys, because you do not want these guys dying fast since they're going to be tanking a lot of damage. When the 5 up saves are not really going to help them. But they are very scary, and for another reason is because they have the ability of Deep Strike. So in my reinforcement step in my second turn and onward, I can just place them behind like 9 inches behind like an enemy unit, and if I get really lucky on a charge, they can get in, do some absolutely crazy damage. And speaking of their damage, they all equip with aberrant weapons, and they're, even despite what they have like power hammers, power hit picks, or like heavy improvised weapons, they all have aberrant weapons, which is 3 attacks, hitting on 3s, 7 strength, minus 2 AP and 2 damage, which is really scary against Marines and elite infantry. And also surprising things like lictors, winged Tyranid primes, and neurolictors, because you're going to have wasted damage. The problem with throwing these guys into elite infantry is really just because they're going to be wasting 1 damage, because they have 3 wounds against 2, so that kind of stinks, but you gotta do what you gotta do sometimes. Alright, that's all I wanted to show and talk about in this video. The next thing I'm going to get for this army is the Genestealer Close Combat Patrol, but that's not going to be for a while, so don't expect me updating on you guys that soon. But that's all I already have, so bye.